Is Danny Lazowski still the best dude to ever drink alcohol in World of Outlaws? Has anybody ever topped him?
It's for the kids.
Well, I think the thing about it is like all those times you guys think he was drinking that Crown Royal, he wasn't. Like, he just put his tongue over the lid. You guys were the I wouldn't say dummies, but you guys were the ones that were getting hammered.
All right, we're going on our 24th year, and Brian Brown, first time he came to the Freak Nation, old Blackjack, I think he was probably 6, 7 years old, running tricycles at some damn dirt track, and now is about to become a grandfather. He reminded me he's been married about 14, 15 years. Buddy, it's good to get you back in the Freak Nation as you sit inside of a car. That is awesome, showing your representation of, I guess, just being a driver.
Yeah, exactly. At least I stopped. I could have went 60 or 70, 80 mile an hour down the road. I got a lot of partners on this shirt. Hopefully when I get done with this interview, hopefully we still got them.
Yeah.
And welcome back to the Freak Nation.
Flying those FVP colors, Blackjack Brian Brown back in the Freak Nation. You got the Knoxville Nationals, the big boys, the 410s coming up this week. You had the 360s earlier this week. And Brian Brown has certainly had his share of time in both of those classes at Knoxville. Dude, is it tougher to win the Knoxville Nationals than it is? And I don't know your experience in Chili Bowl, but is it tougher? Is Knoxville Nationals the toughest dirt sprint car race to win on the planet?
Yeah, I think if it's not the toughest, it's got to be right up there with it, just because of, I think a lot of goes into this too. It's maybe sometimes to easier just to win a normal event. A lot of luck goes into this. Luck on your qualifying pill, luck on your heat race draw, luck on your feature. So, I think the biggest thing about it is that you can't win the Knoxville Nationals on your preliminary night, but you can definitely lose it. I think that's the main thing about this event is there's 110 entries and probably 30 have a legitimate shot to win it, where maybe the Chili Bowl has 300 entries and really maybe 10 or 15 has a legitimate shot. So, just happy to be in that talk of the top 30 contenders. And like I said, we have a great team. Obviously, Casey's and FEP are primary partners, and looking forward to having a good shot at it this year.
How do you maintain your focus? I'm going to assume, and correct me if I'm wrong, that you've been at the Knoxville track, or at least by the end of next weekend, you will have been there for 3 weeks. 2 weeks ago was, I'm getting them all confused, All-Star Sprints, and then ASCOC, or ASCS, I should say, and then now coming up the World of Outlaws. How do you maintain your focus? You're jumping with different series. Something has to be preparation work to get ready for the big World of Outlaws weekend, but there's a lot going on that can be confusing mentally and physically.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot going on in general. I mean, this is the Knoxville Nationals is a big. You take a town that has 5,000 people, and now it's going to have 30,000 people. It's definitely a lot going on. A lot of fans, a lot of sponsor obligations, a lot of stuff going on the track, but you can probably even more off the track than normal. So you kind of use your time wisely and try to just make sure that you're doing everything to be prepared on the track, and then doing everything off the track to take care of all your partners. So lots of racing going on, but that's the good part about it is a lot of times during the year we'll race someplace on a Friday and then have to travel 4 or 5 hours to race on Saturday. At least this way we're all in one location where there's not a lot of travel that goes on. So we wouldn't have it any other way. I mean, we're lucky to be able to do what we do for a living and race for good money. And I'm pumped. Like I said, this is my vacation every year. Heather would probably argue with me, but if they said, hey, you can choose 10 days, you can go anywhere in the world, I would come to Knoxville and go to the Knoxville Nationals. It's I'm a fan that at 6 o'clock gets to put a race uniform on and go out and perform. But otherwise, I love being here. I love being around the people, and just pretty awesome experience overall.
Okay, so that I was going to ask you about that. You are basically putting up a residency in Knoxville, Iowa for a while, but does Heather come in and out, or does she just come in for a certain weekend? How do you maintain that?
What'd you say that Heather does what?
Does she come in and out? Does she stay the entire time?
I wanted to hear that again, but
Crasher, why did you fall for that?
Yeah.
I totally fell for it.
Yeah,
I totally fell for it.
She's here the whole time. and she takes care of a lot of our merchandise and or the trailer, things like that. So yeah, she's here the whole time. Really my whole family's pretty much here the whole time. So my grandpa George, Danny, everybody in the whole clan's here, and we're just here being a part of the circus. We're just a small piece of the circus.
Wow. Brian Brown, sprint car driver, Knoxville Nationals we're getting ready for. You're on the road all the time, Brian, sponsored by Casey's. What do you do when you get hungry and you don't have a Casey's nearby? Do you ever feel guilty stopping somewhere else?
First of all, aloha, stat man. Made it back from Hawaii. Yeah, back to your question. Yeah, like I try to stock up as much as I can. And when we're in the Midwest, where we are today, like in this particular town in Knoxville, there's 4 Casey's. Where I live, there's 3 Casey's. So when we're here, you really gotta look hard not to find Casey's. So I'll drive the extra mile to make sure we get to Casey's and support them as much as I can. They would been with me for almost, I think, 14 years, FVP for over right at 15 years. So yeah, got to support the people that support us. Having our own team, it's very important to take care of the people, like that, all the people on our shirt, very important to take care of them and make sure that we do everything we can to be a good partner to them. So yeah, we drive by all those other convenience stores to make sure we roll into Casey's.
There was a time when the Outlaws were out on the road all the time, more than 100 races a year. But about 10 years ago, they raised all the money, and now you've got 2 other series that are out there. So you're making more money now, I would guess. Everybody, but are you racing less, or are you racing just as much as you did in the old days?
Yeah, our schedule, we're on like 75 races a year in about 20 states. And what's unique about our schedule is we don't race with any particular series. So when we sit down to start the year and we have a blank canvas and we like, okay, where does FEP want us at? Where does Casey's want us at? And then we kind of fill in the blanks, the rest of kind of what we want to do. So we might be racing with the Outlaws on a Friday night. We might be here on Saturday night with the Knoxville local guys. We may be and then on Tuesday with the High Limit Series. So where we're at in sprint car racing right now, I feel like is the best we've ever been. We're racing for more money. The crowds are bigger. And I feel like that we have the best product. And I don't really I'm not saying that just because I'm a part of it, but I'm a race fan in general. I watch NASCAR. I watch some Formula One. I watch Indy cars. I watch drag racing. I watch every single thing. And we have the best product. It's the best, most exciting form of racing there is. And I think that's probably why I'm most excited about that High Limit Series. When you have races on Friday and Saturday night, whether it's on Dirt Vision or Flow or whatever streaming service you have, it's all split between those particular brands of streaming services. So everybody can't watch everything. On Tuesday night, there's nothing else going on. So every motorsports fan in the world, whether it be Jeff Gordon, Ray Everham, Dale Earnhardt Jr., or my buddies in Missouri, they're watching High Limits on Flow. So I think what we're doing to kind of show our brand off to the world is I feel like people watch it on Tuesday and then say, gosh, where can we go watch these guys live in person? And I think by doing that, I feel like, sooner or later, the whole world's going to see how awesome our sport is of dirt track racing, grassroots dirt track racing. And I think it shows by everywhere we go now. I mean, they're sold out, huge crowds. And I feel like that's an exciting time for our sport.
I love hearing that you guys as drivers are making more money and being able to get in front of more eyeballs than maybe 10, 15 years ago. But is this business model sustainable with arguably four different sprint car series at the top level? Or is somebody going to have to go away? Or is a merger going to eventually have to happen with which then the top events are kept and some events go away?
Yeah, I think you're always going to have the Outlaws. Obviously that's our premier series. High Limits and All Stars. All Stars is always it's the longest. I feel like the longest traveling sprint car series. I feel like they'll always be around. The high limits I feel like is good, but I feel like they're going to have to kind of get in where they fit in a little bit. And I feel like that's a deal that's probably, 2 races in April, 2 races in May, 2 races in June, and then July and August, take those off because there's already a lot of racing. We're just wearing people out, and then pick back up in September and October. So I feel like that could be a very easily like a 10 race schedule. That's just adding, midweek races on that. But who knows? Like everybody kind of has their own agenda, and they're looking to do what's best for their brand and their series. So we're not really privy to that information. It's kind of like whenever they say that, hey, we're offering these races and this is what it pays, it's up to us to choose where we want to go and race. But it's a good time to be a race car driver, race car owner. But sometimes it's hard. I hate to say this, but there's too many choices. Like we skipped the last 2 high limit races just because they were one was like 18 hours away and one was last week leading up to the 360 Nationals. So we've kind of been on this program a little bit the last 2 or 3 weeks after the Eldora Million that we just wanted to concentrate on of we wanted to race quality races, not quantity. And I just didn't want to get my guys wore out, my crew guys wore out, my team wore out before we led into the biggest 10 days of the year, which is the Knoxville Nationals week. So just a little bit of different mentality this year. Some of those all-star guys, and they've been racing 8 races in 10 days. And I can hardly imagine how wore out they are. And I feel like we're fresh as a team, and hopefully that pays dividends here the next week.
Brian Brown, old Blackjack, back at the Freak Nation, getting set for the Knoxville Nationals. Is Danny Lazowski still the best dude to ever drink alcohol in World of Outlaws? Has anybody ever topped him?
It's for the kids.
Well, I think the thing about it is like all those times you guys think he was drinking that Crown Royal, he was like he just put his tongue over the lid. You guys were the I wouldn't say dummies, but you guys were the ones that were getting hammered. And if you noticed, he wasn't drunk. Yeah. So he's probably the best at making you think he's drinking, and you guys were doing all the drinking. But we had talked about before we went on the air how much fun that was of just that golf tournament and that time. Things have changed, man. It used to be like I felt like back in the day, we would go to places, we would have golf tournaments, all the teams would hang out, party, and have a good time on Friday night after the races. Now it's like we race and we just go to the next track. So it's just a little bit different of a type of racing it is right now versus where it was 15 years ago.
Well, hold on. Has camaraderie at the track kind of taken a sidestep versus what it was in the past too? Because you guys, you'd put the helmet on and you'd race each other hard, but there were a lot of friendships off the track.
Yeah, I don't think there's a lot of friendships. I mean, we're racing for a lot of money. I think there's guys that obviously I try to get along with everybody, but I mean, there's probably only a couple of guys I'd go to lunch or dinner with. I mean, that's kind of just how it is. I mean, there's the guys I like and guys to get along with, but I'm obviously not friends with all of them. But I don't think the camaraderie is probably what it once was, and everybody kind of just does their own thing, loads up, and goes on down the road. You
look at really how far it's come, and you're right. You go back into the day, and you see Casey Kane coming over, or Clint Boyer coming over from NASCAR, and you guys kind of bowed up from time to time going, this is our series, man. Don't you even think about you're going to come over here and try and take our money. But then again, you'd go out and have beers with them after the race.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's what it's a little bit different now. I think that's what, what Tony does and what Casey did and does, and, what Kyle does and all these guys. I think Alex Bowman's obviously a part of our sport now. So, I mean, I think what these guys moonlighting during the week coming over and racing with us just solidifies what I was saying earlier about how great a sport we have, and how our form of racing, dirt track sprint car racing, I feel like it's the best. And like I said, I think it kind of hones those guys' skills where they go on Sunday, and I think they run better when they run wing sprint cars during the week. So overall, I feel like that it's in a good spot, wing sprint car racing, and I feel like just happy to be a part of it. It's a huge family, and one I wouldn't trade for the world.
Well, let's go back about 15 years real quick, my friend. It's really, I don't know who shot this video. I think somebody shot it on a Super 8 camera from 1967. But take a dive into this.
Brian Brown.
What's going on, guys?
Yeah.
Out in the Freak Nation.
With all this madness, you got your World of Outlaw cars here. You got these celebrities in here. Casey Kane come in here trying to take some money. That boy you're running the celebrity race, and Gary sells it. You got to kind of put your balls out there and show them that you are the man in this super clean car.
Yeah, anytime those guys come into town, when those NASCAR guys come to town, you want to, obviously you want to say, hey, I deserve to be where you are, and we want to rock and roll and show them who's boss, especially when they come on our turf, and that's what we're hoping to do tonight. We beat Casey last year.
With a guy like Casey Kane coming in here, but he's bringing in some money here.
Yeah,
to support you guys. I mean, putting some asses in the stands, Brownie.
Yeah, definitely. If that guy can get a little more experience, he'll be halfway decent, I think. So,
are you back?
What?
Golly.
Brownie.
Gosh. Why was I so cocky back then for no reason?
Because Kenny was riling you up before the mic went
on. I think he had the needle on my side, didn't he? I don't think I was just being that way just on purpose.
Yeah, it's the gray hair, Brian. When the gray hair comes, you start to get settled down a little bit,
Yeah, I'm telling you, like, what were they doing to me, Stat Man?
I don't know. He was setting you up, though. He was feeding you a lot of stuff, and you were clambering in there trying to hang with it.
He has a knack of doing that. So in general, he tries to get me in trouble as much as he can, but as well as keep me out of trouble as minimal amount as can.
Jeez.
This is awesome. Black. Hey, dude, your black jack wear is awesome. You got your shirt selection is choice, Broham.
You like that stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, my guy does a good job. I kind of bring him the ideas I want, and he spits them out. So yes, we're proud of it. I think that we try to do t-shirts just that don't have crap from side to side and things you can wear, out and about, not just at a racetrack. So we're proud of that, and got a lot of great fans that support us on that side of it. That makes it good, and that helps us on nights when we don't run well. If the merch trailer does well.
Steve Kinser, the greatest driver ever.
You asked Rico that last week.
Right.
I've been behind Rico for a lot this year. You guys even on your show.
Oh no. Whoa.
Oh wow.
I to answer your question, I do believe Steve Kinser is the best ever, but I do think that it was a different era. And I think Donnie Schatz is in that category, just because when Steve won all those races, he was the greatest, but he was racing against 4 or 5 really, really good guys. Donnie Schatz, when he did it, he was racing against 10 very, very good guys with the same equipment. So I think it's a different era, but if I had to go P1, Steve Kinser definitely is P1, but Donnie Schatz is right there in P2.
Who is the modern day Schatz Kinser?
I really think probably like David Gravel and Brad Sweet. I mean, those are the 2 guys that are really at the top of our game right now, night in, night out. Carson Macedo's good every single night. Logan Schuhart's good every night. That whole World of Outlaw series now, man, I feel like I raced with them a lot in the last 15 years. And I feel like right now, to beat those guys, you have to be on your game 24/7. I mean, they run really hard and they don't tear stuff up, and the racing's phenomenal. And we were lucky enough to beat those guys in June here at the Outlaw show, and you have to do everything right. So like Brad and David Gravel right now, as you can see, they're the top of the point standings. They're right there, and as well as Carson Macedo.
Good luck for these Knoxville Nationals. We wouldn't hate it if you get yourself the big championship or the big win.
Yeah, definitely. And if we do, I'd love to come back on and talk about how good it was.
Yeah, give a big check so you can bring that on with you.
Yeah, you Yeah, you guys take care. Thank you guys for everything. Thanks for having me on. Let's try to do it, within 15 years again after this one, or 20 years. Just don't wait so long.
Oh, boy.
Sounds like a plan. Hi to Heather too.
Definitely. You guys take care, and thanks for everything.